Hi everybody, this is Bastiaan, and today we're going to take a look at some ideas in the Polish opening. So I'm playing white. Play starts with b4 and black plays d5. So this is a common way for black to respond to the Polish opening. Of course e5 is also possible. And now typically white continues with the development of the bishop to b2. But I'm not doing that yet in this game. Instead I'm developing knight to c3. Black plays e5, so we're seeing already that our Polish pawn on b4 is being attacked by the bishop. Possible continuations which are good for white, or a3 to protect the pawn, or even rook to b1 to protect. But instead I'm playing b5. Play continues with d4, so black is chasing my knight away. And instead of undeveloping with knight to b1, I'm playing knight to e4, gambiting the pawn. Because now black can play a fork with queen to d5, targeting both knight and pawn, so the pawn is lost. I move my knight to g3, queen takes pawn, and I'm down a pawn. So let's see what we have accomplished by doing this. I can develop my bishop to b2 or b3, although I can't for the moment because both squares are covered. I can bring my rook to the half open file now that the pawn is sacrificed, although not right now. But those are ideas that will be played in a few moves. But the real weakness is that black has a queen brought in the center early and a backwards pawn on e5. So my main targets in the opening will be the queen and the pawn. So chasing the queen is easy enough. I can play e3 or e4. But instead of playing e3 immediately, I play knight to f3 first, targeting the pawn, but also targeting the d-pawn after I play pawn to e3. So I hope to gain tempo by playing e3 with additional attacks on the pawns on the e and d file. Black sees the threat and moves the queen immediately, bringing the queen into safety behind the two pawns, but also protecting both pawns. But I continue with my idea to chase the queen, and I play e4. Protected by the knight on g3. Pawn takes pawn en passant. Now of course I can recapture with the d-pawn, but this will lead to a trade-off of the queens, and I would like to keep chasing the queen and developing pieces. So best is to recapture with the f-pawn, pawn takes pawn. Black continues development of the minor pieces, bishop to g4. c4, again same idea, targeting the queen. Black plays the in-between bishop takes knight, hoping to trade off pieces and get to a winning endgame, being a pawn up. So I recapture with the pawn. Notice that now the b-pawn is unprotected because the bishop has moved, which will help white when he can develop his rook to the half-open b-file. Black plays queen a5, bringing the queen into safety, but also pinning the d-pawn, so white can't take an immediate control of the center yet. But I continue with the original ideas, developing the rook to the half-open file, rook to b1. Notice that at this point, queen can take the pawn, but then simply the rook will recapture and target perhaps the second pawn on c7, which should be good for white. Black plays b6, bringing the pawn into safety. So I develop the second piece. Now I'm targeting the pawn on e5. So if queen takes, I can recapture on e5. black continues development with knight to c6, protecting the pawn. But now I play bishop to c3, again targeting the queen. Of course, the queen cannot capture the pawn on a2, because after rook to a1, black's queen is trapped. So instead of moving the queen, black decides to block the attack with bishop to b4, developing more pieces, instead of just fleeing with the queen. But in doing so, black overlooked a nice tactical shot. Rook takes bishop. So this is an exchange sacrifice. Black recaptures with the knight. I play queen to b1 to increase pressure on the knight. But black doesn't want to give up the second minor piece and plays pawn to c5. So by playing the exchange sacrifice, we're not getting material advantage. So there's no material compensation, but there is a positional one, because at this point black's queen is locked out of the game. Also, white has gained tempo with free development of his queen. So queen to e4, forking pawn and rook. So the rook needs to move. Rook goes to d8. Queen takes pawn check. Notice we're also attacking g7 and the rook on h8. Black plays knight to e7. Now of course we can capture the pawn, but black can get back tempo by playing the rook to his open file, chasing the queen. So we have to do better than to just grab a pawn. Knight to f5, renewing the mate threat, with queen takes knight on e7 mate. Notice this also deprives black from castling, because if black castles, we get queen to g7 mate. So black's king is in an awkward position. Rook to d7 to protect the knight and prevent the mate. Queen to b8 check. Rook to d8. Knight takes pawn check. Now there are two possibilities. If king to f8 is played, we can see that the knight is being protected by our Polish bishop, and the king is being driven back on the back rank, where he has no possibility of escape. Queen takes rook mate. But black can flee with king to d7, which was played. And now simply queen to b7 check. Forcing king to d6. And finally a bishop sacrifice, bishop e5 check, forcing king captures bishop, leading to queen takes knight on e7 checkmate. So I hope you liked this game in the spirit of the Polish opening. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.